Yes.
Late night last night.
Mm-hmm. Ben's got it's not a 6-pack, but maybe it is, because I can see his muscles, and I'm not counting you right now, but that's 30. One more.
I have 2 more, 34.
All right, 2 more. Stiller. Yeah, see that? You can't see it very well on camera, but there's definition there.
There's like kids walking past, like going to school today. I can't believe it. It's like, I feel like summer just started. I feel bad for these people and I don't even have to go. How did this happen? I feel like summer just started. Oh, this happens like every year. Where are you coming from? What are you up to over there? Oh!
Burning cold blazed out of it. He parted the heavens and came down.
Oh.
Dark clouds were under
What are you doing? Hey! Bye-bye! Now I feel like there's so many tank tops and so little time left in summer.
The baby. Feed the baby.
Cammie's friend is coming over in a little bit for their little book study group. But Cammie wants to smoke some of my cigars. And like the middle of the day, this is like lunchtime. And yes, I did call them my cigars. I know we're married, but I still haven't overcome that hump in saying, oh, these are ours together cigars, because they're not. And she wanted to smoke big ones, and I said, no, you're not smoking big ones in the middle of the day, because we're supposed to smoke cigars tonight. I think these will do the trick. I mean, these are still like no joke. These are like $5, 35, 40-minute cigars here. Jeez. All right, those are gonna have to work for you.
All right. Well, this really weird thing happened to me where I just started to. Thank you. I just got done meeting with my friend Julia. We've been meeting and going through this grief recovery book. This meeting was really good for me. It's just really nice to have a friend to work through this stuff with. I got something exciting in the mail just now. Let's do this the safe way. Yes. I got several posters to decorate the gym, the garage that we work out in, because it's kind of like dull and plain in there, and I just wanted something fun to be able to look at and even to give some inspiration.
And I think to myself,
what a wonderful world.
All right, how you doing?
I'm really hot, but excited to go on a date with you.
Well, we'll do it, but right now it's time for Q&A.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Okay, we're still trying to do this fancy video thing, but I think I'm kind of over it because we only got 2 questions today. I hope it's loud enough because it's a disappearing one and we only get to listen to it once. This is from Mac Gilgrams.
I'm interested if there was ever a time in your marriage when you kind of just looked at each other and realized, I don't know you. And if you've ever had a time when you felt hopeless and how you pushed through that to get to where you are now. Thanks.
I don't know if I ever, at least consciously, can remember thinking the first thing of like, I don't know you. I definitely have felt times of hopelessness in our marriage, especially the first 10 years.
Uh-oh, you look like you're gonna say something like
No, I'm
really
wondering what
intense.
you're gonna say.
Oh, I think there's like 2 sections, 2 different time periods that I felt this way. One is when we first got married. I mean, we had some a big fight. And
Like 3 years into our marriage.
yeah, and everything around that, I just felt like I didn't know you. I felt like I kind of got cheated in this marriage. I felt like you weren't the woman that I married. I couldn't see any hope.
There's been times that I think could say that I wanted out of the marriage, but it wasn't strong enough for me to actually
Like on our honeymoon,
bail. But
when you said that thing. The second thing though,
things-
of when I look at you and don't even know you, is like the last month. Did we
Yeah.
share the story about our anniversary? I think we did, but let's share it again. We're sitting on our anniversary, 17-year anniversary breakfast. It's a Saturday morning. Cammie and I go out, and I'm like, hey, let's share the high and lows of our last year for our marriage. And she goes, my high was last night. And I was like, what? Like, who is this girl? She never would have said that before. And my high was like going to counseling together or something lame like that. Sometimes with these last videos we've been posting, I'm like, oh, are they like too sexual or whatever? But I keep on reminding myself, that's actually just like our real life right now. We're just trying to like show it. So if we're apologizing, we'd be apologizing for living the way we're living, which we can't really apologize for. And we're just trying to document even just a part of it. So even that video you filmed about getting the lube and the boldness and some of what you've been discovering with your own sexuality and bikini shopping and cutting your shorts, I feel that way the last month with her. I'm like, who is this woman? I don't even know her.
I feel that way about myself.
But whoever she is, I want to get to know her because it's really exciting. Oh, whoever the Cammie was for the last 17 years, this is like...
You ain't seen nothing yet.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's really more exciting for me than ever right now. What did we like last week? Or it was our date night last week. I was like, this is the happiest I've ever been. You know, was this last week's date night. And I feel that that's just gonna be every day for us, you know? Why not if we're growing and learning? All right, this is from
Oh, we're still rolling?
A Clean Fit Lifestyle, AKA our friend Amber, that used to live in that house right there.
And my question is, in regards to that article you posted on your blog, are you saying you're okay with porn as long as it's ethical? That's what I want. Love you guys.
Fuck me, Amber.
She asked,
Ugh, that's like the
There's-
toughest question in the
there's
world.
an article that Ben posted, and she asked if we're okay with porn as long as it's ethical.
Because I tried to hide that article. I posted it in a YouTube comment as a response to someone else, and it was like an old video, and I was like, oh, no one's reading these, so I can answer honestly. And the article was titled something about ethical porn. Link down below. now that it's out there.
Hiding it anymore.
I don't believe everything this article says. In fact, I'm going to post 2 articles that have been really kind of influential for us, and it's been a dynamic month. But the short answer is no, I don't believe porn is wrong. And on paper, I've actually haven't believed it's wrong for a long time, like a number of years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years. And when I say wrong, I mean the porn itself isn't wrong. It's not a sin, it's not dangerous itself. I'm sure there can be like moral issues around how it's made, and you know, there's all sorts of that kind of stuff, but I'm not gonna get into that. Let's say we had a Playboy magazine right here. I do not believe that Playboy magazine is an evil item in itself, and I don't believe it would be a sin necessarily for someone to look at. But there's a couple things I want to say, because I wasn't even like ready to get into this right now. It's so much more simple just to put a blanket label onto something that isn't, by the way, in the Bible at all, and just say, oh, that is sin. Swearing is wrong or sin, certain drugs are wrong or sin, and porn is wrong or sin. And I just think that's overly simplistic.
Because people will just, Christians or religious people will say that's sexually immoral. Therefore, it's sin.
Yeah. And I think there can be sexual immorality involved, but the thing that I've been really excited about lately in discovering is that oftentimes porn is just the symptom of something much deeper. And it's actually covering up the problem we really have. Let's say a woman says, I don't want my husband looking at porn because that's like cheating on me. Okay, I don't think that's cheating. Like legally or actually biblically, I don't believe that's cheating. Because the porn's there, it's almost like blaming the porn, saying, oh, if you look at the porn, then you're cheating me. But if you take the porn away, there's still an insecurity or a jealousy or a fear of loss that is kind of just being blamed on the porn, but will actually still exist. And I think is actually the more important issue.
On the woman's side.
On the woman's side, than the porn. And guys, we have our own issues with porn. I think there's enough issues around sexuality as it is that to make up additional ones, I don't think we're doing anyone any favors. I mean, there's been strings and comment threads from previous videos, and you know, people say, oh, well, porn, when you look at porn, you automatically lust. That's not necessarily true. It can be true, and yes, it can lead to that. But I think that's an overly simplistic way of looking at anything. That's like saying, oh, if you drink, you get drunk. Or if you play cards, you gamble.
It's also usually lust is not used correctly in the definition. Because lust, the definition is attachment. You have an attachment to this person and you have ownership over them.
Yeah, you want them, you find it appealing, and you want to be close to it is at least one definition we've heard lately. Versus
attraction, where I believe that's not lust. Attraction is looking at something and saying, dang, that's attractive. I think there is a like fine line in between the two of those, and that's where Christians don't want to even go there because it's too gray, it's too fuzzy. But we're doing ourselves a disservice by not going there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that aren't being talked about, aren't being dealt with because we're just not willing to even go there.
Yeah, it's actually, I used to think, oh, it's just safer to say porn is wrong and to teach that to our kids, and masturbation is wrong and just stay away from it. Now I actually think it compromises the gospel when you add on sins and actually redefine sin in a way. Because you're not just saying sin is what violates relationship, you're saying sin is something that could violate, and that's actually really different. And I think it's actually threatening to our relationship with God and even each other. I'm gonna post these 2 articles down below and separate, what I would like to see is comment threads in response to those, because I would love to dialogue more about that in a way that's helpful for you guys. There's no more questions on Instagram, so we're gonna talk about a comment that was left 2 days ago by someone named Rachel in one of our videos. I know you discuss finances and are open about that, but it seems that you're in a position that you're in because you've made a lot of money in the past, but it just feels sometimes that you're showing a lifestyle that is for many people unattainable. It feels a bit overwhelming watching your vlog because you seem to have it so good. I understand where you're coming from, and I don't know, there's 2 things I would say about that. Like, I want to be really direct here because I respect the hell out of you for posting this, but I actually pretty strongly disagree with some of the things and the angles you're coming from. One thing I want to say though is, please don't try and be like us. Like living on our block and owning a Mercedes van and having 6 kids and having your parents live in the backyard and blah, 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 blah. If you try and be like us, you're gonna be very frustrated, and because you're supposed to be you, not us. And we have different advantages, and God's blessed us in different ways, and we have a different story, and we've made different decisions in the past. So if you wanna be like us, it's a dead end. But I wanna take that and set that aside for a second and move on to another topic, which is freedom or more freedom possible for anyone right now? And I believe the answer to that is yes. And that's what we're trying to encourage with our vlog to you guys, and use our lifestyle just to show you one picture that's possible. Because a lot of people think it's impossible in this culture to live differently.
Unless you have millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, millions of dollars, or I don't know, sometimes I don't think it's usually a matter of money oftentimes. Even if people had $1 million, the last thing they'd usually do is have more kids, or hang out with their kids, or learn Hebrew lessons together, or whatever, the hike 95 miles around a mountain, or run a marathon together, or whatever we're doing. Those are not byproducts of money. Most of the things in our life are not. And the way I know this is because we've been living this way for most of our life, all of our married life. This isn't something we just got once we got a certain amount. Now it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at us not working and vlogging and taking Hebrew lessons, yes, some of those things, they take money. But a lot of the level of freedom we've had, I think, came from prioritizing certain things and choices that you can make those choices and prioritize things today. In fact, if you're not doing it today, if you're waiting for another $10,000 or $60,000 or $100,000, I would say that it will probably never come. That's why I want to be so emphatic about this, because a lot of people they feel like victims when really they need to own their decisions that they're making today. I've said this before, but if you have Netflix, if you have air conditioning, if you have a car, if you have food in your freezer, you are living 10 times better than almost anyone 100 years ago. We had the most money we ever had. We were making more than $1 million a year. I was hanging out with my family the least. And the people that I hung out with that were millionaires, they weren't hanging out with their families either. And they were living under more stress, less freedom. I think if you're making more than $20,000 a year, the best advice I would give to anyone is to live within your means. If you have to fit into a 1-bedroom apartment or live in your parents' basement, or eat ramen, it's better to trade convenience and comfort for freedom. And we've consistently done that. And now we're doing it with larger amounts of money, and it looks a little bit more exciting and wild. And you know, we even have some adventures coming up that I'm like, do I want to show those? Because I feel like it's a little bit flashy and it could discourage people more. But once again, I think we're a picture of what's possible. If you have however much assets we have, let's say $500,000 in property, this is what your life could look like, instead of getting a secure retirement and buying a bigger home and still working 60 hours a week. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. For Rachel, I would love it if some of you guys in the comments below would leave ideas or experiences that you have had about steps that you have made in your own life that have been inspired by watching our life or this vlog. So it's not like, oh, hey, we're taking Hebrew 6 days a week. But these are small things in your life that are just as important and really cool for us to hear too. But I want Rachel to be able to get some other ideas, because Rachel, I would love for you to begin to, with whatever extra $100 or $10 or $1,000 you can have in this year, to be able to align that more with your values and vision so you can fight for together in your own life. Okay, might have been like a longer Q&A. Deal with it.
Ben wanted to ride bikes, but I'm not so hot on that idea because I'm really hot. Literally, so.
And figuratively. Don't want to ride bikes.
I don't know. It's like natural air conditioner.
lady just left, and she left some of her sushi there. Yeah! What do we got? Oh, yeah. Oh, salmon rolls.
This bike riding thing is fun. I'm glad Ben talked me into it. It's evening now, it's cooling down. We're on our way to our second destination, which will include cigars, rocking chairs, and dessert.
Just sitting out here on this deck over the river, enjoying a fairly intense conversation. And I was thinking about Rachel's comment, and I want to say one more thing, because I really want our vlog to be helpful to as many people as possible. But I understand there's a huge gap between our lives and some people's lives. Most everyone in America dreams of vacation and retirement. I actually feel like our life is a vacation and retirement. If I had $1 billion, what you're looking at, you guys, I'm actually very proud to say this is what I would be doing. And that's the most exciting thing about my life. Not necessarily that we have a lot of money or don't have to work, because this vlog is actually an optional work project that we take on, but that we have chosen and maneuvered ourselves in such a way that we're not living for tomorrow. We actually are very content. I'm very content right now. Even if you're not there yet where you want to be, maybe our life gives you a different perspective of what's possible for retirement or vacation.
We always order one dessert, but the problem is I want the carrot cake and Ben wants the strawberry shortcake. Guess which one we got?
Wait for it. Da, 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 da. This is what you do when you're retired and on vacation.